9-point loss, essentially. They had led by as many as 19 to Duke. They let it fade away. It was the biggest deficit in the tournament that they lost by. North Carolina had a similar one. But now we go back to that last sequence, or the second half of that game. Was it more of a UConn comeback, or was it more of a Duke collapse? Stephen A., what do you think?
Well, I'm going to give the credit to UConn, and I'm going to say it's a UConn comeback because I have to give credit to probably the best coach in basketball, in college basketball right now. We talk about John Cheyenne. We know what he's done, and he deserves his praise. But he ain't Danny Hurley, not at this particular moment in time. Nobody is. Dan Hurley is in his third Final Four in 4 years. He's on the verge of potentially winning his third national championship in the last 4 years. I think that John Calipari is great. He's got one championship in 34 years. I think Tom Izzo, who I just interviewed last week, is great. He's got one championship in his career spanning nearly 40 years. This man's got 2 national championships and is en route to a third. This is what he does, okay? And so when you look at Dan Hurley and his pedigree, his pops, his brother, you know, what they've meant to basketball, high school and collegiately as coach and player. And then you see this guy, Dan Hurley, come along and coaching his butt off and recruiting. Talked to him, I interviewed him at the start of this season. He said last year he knew they did not have a championship squad, but they lost to the eventual national championship Florida Gators by 2 points in the NCAA tournament. That was Florida's toughest game in a lot of people's eyes, if not everyone's eyes. He comes back this year, walks into the season and says, I think we got a championship squad. I think we'll be back. And sure enough, he's back. They didn't give up. They scratched. They clawed. They started off the game shooting 1 of 18 from three-point range before going 4 or 5 from 3 over the final 7 minutes of the game. Just give credit where credit is due. Sticking with it, sticking with the right guys. Who's to say that Mullins needed to be on the court to take that shot the way that he had been struggling through this NCAA tournament? You know who said so? Dan Hurley said so. And that's why he's a great, great coach. And a lot of other people we're looking at and we're saying, you're a lot of things, but you ain't him.
Mm-hmm. I think that is the right answer from an objective outside perspective. But from a former player perspective, let me preface myself by just saying this is coming from a former player perspective. I can't give them credit. Like it's a collapse. Like, and as you get older, you'll give them credit, as I'm sure of it. But as a former player, Stephen A., look, you're going to sit there and say, we had a 19-point lead. And if we didn't turn the ball over 8 times for 16 points off turnovers, these are the games, and I kind of said it earlier, won a chip my sophomore year. Now look, my junior year, up 17 points to Indiana, Stephen A. 17 points to Indiana. Do you know every time I see an Indiana fan, what they thank me for? Missing a free throw, to send it into overtime, losing a game. It's funny, people will talk about the loss more than they talk about the win. I have to remind people of the win. I have to remind people of it. So these are the things, and with 17-point lead. Now, look, on that team, similar to, talent-wise, wasn't a question. Myself, Carlos Boozer, the father of Cameron and Caden Boozer, Mike Dunleavy, who's the general manager for the Golden State Warriors, 3rd pick in the draft, Chris Duhon, to play years in NBA. Like, we all remember it because we had the lead. And by the way, who did Indiana lose to in the national championship that year? Maryland, a team we beat in the ACC regular season. So I get it from the outside perspective. You're right. But from the internal perspective, they haunt you for the rest of your life, especially for a guy like Cameron and Caden, brothers. They've won at every level. And that may be the last time they may ever play together. It never leaves you, man. It's horrible.
I also felt like go ahead, Stephen A.
Go. I think in the case of Caden Boozer, I mean, you know what? The eyes of the basketball world are going to be on him next year because you can't help but love his character and what he showed in defeat. You really, really have to praise him for that, right? But you also have to remember, although it was against Siena, if I remember correctly, he comes into the game because he's off the bench, and then you got to be inserted into the lineup because you've got injuries in Duke's backcourt. He had 19 points without a single turnover. You're letting everybody know, you know what, there's another Boozer on this squad, and I could play a little bit, you know. And he was in that game and obviously on that court and in position to help Duke secure a win and a berth to the Final Four. He wouldn't have been on that court if he wasn't good enough. And so to see him handle himself the way that he did. It's going to be real interesting to watch him next season and how much he learns from this and how much he grows from this personally. I'm going to be really interested in watching his growth as a player in light of what transpired.
I'll say one last thing also. I don't know because I was not on the bench. I don't know how his foot was feeling. I don't know how his conditioning was. But an experienced guy like Caleb Foster, in a moment like that, you're wondering why he wasn't on the court. A guy like that has had the reps. May have been a different scenario.
That's true.
It's a legitimate question.
Yeah, and Caleb, or Boozer actually stepped in. Caden Boozer stepped in for Caleb Foster, and so that raises some questions. It is what it is now.
Well, I brought up the part about Evans. I wanted him to come to the ball more, be more aggressive instead of running out. I know that was the play that was called by Schreier, but I want him running to the ball because he's your best free throw shooter. And oh, by the way, once the ball was turned over, you looking at Schreier telling him to put his hands up. You got to put your hands up on that shot by Mullins. You just got to do it. You got to contest it. And he did it. He had his arms down. No contesting. Gave Mullins a clear view of the pitch, of the basket. And obviously he drilled it from 35 feet. It was a 35-foot shot. I understand that. Got to throw your arms up defensively. Just got to do that.
Mike, I still can't believe it. I can't even believe that that happened last night. Anyways.
Big time shot.
Big time shot. I brought this up earlier, but what is crazy is that both North Carolina and Duke blew 19-point leads to lose their tournament games this year. UNC obviously to VCU, Duke to UConn. We witnessed it yesterday. Now that we've had a chance to reflect on both UNC, Hubert Davis is no longer there, and now Duke, this is 2 years in a row, similar issues. Which was worse? Which blown lead looks worse now today? Stephen A., what do you think?
I think it's obvious it was North Carolina. The coach lost his job because of it. I mean, damn, Jay. I mean, it don't get more significant than that. John Shire lost, sure, but he's going to be all right. He'll be back next year, the year after, and the year after that. Hubert Davis is no longer the head coach of the University of North Carolina. Can't blow a 19-point lead to a VCU. You just can't do that, okay? That's what happened. And then not only is that you have to take into consideration, but again, so much that was on the line for North Carolina in terms of their future and what have you, and you saw what it cost them. Duke lost to UConn. UNC lost to VCU. The quality of the competition, no disrespect to VCU, but there's levels to this, and you're not UConn. And so to lose to a UConn, ain't no shame in that, all right? To lose to a two-time national champion over the last 3 years, ain't no shame in that. But if you're North Carolina, the program that you're supposed to be, the flagrant evidence that was inescapable when all was said and done was the VCU loss, because it just lets you know that North Carolina simply was not on the level that it needed to be on. It's just that simple to me. I think that's an easy answer right there. I think it was North Carolina that was worse.
Big brother, I got so hot when this question came up last night and multiple times online. For multiple reasons. Number one, at some point you just alluded to, Duke lost to maybe the greatest coach in this generation for coming up. Like, maybe he has a chance to enter that conversation if he wins 3 in 4 years. And the number 2 seed. And I get it. Is it embarrassing? Are people going to have narratives they're going to run away with? John can't win the big game. Last year, losing in the Final Four. And then this year, losing in the Elite Eight, both years with a double-digit lead, sure. But North Carolina lost in the first round of the tournament last year as well. And they lost to a double-digit seed this year as well. Now, I get it. They were without Caleb Wilson, their top player. True. If you go back to after they got to the Final Four, Stephen A., they were preseason #1 in the country. They didn't make the tournament the following year. First time that's ever happened in the history of college basketball. So comparing the two feel laughable to me. Look, North Carolina has a chance to be the most relevant program. We've talked about this multiple times. We'll see what hire they're able to make, whether that's Billy Donovan, if his job is over with the Chicago Bulls. Who knows what happens? Tommy Lloyd, a lot of rumors speculating around. Obviously, he has a chance to win a championship for Arizona, maybe Nate Oates. A lot of names being thrown in there. And they can get back very easily. But this is not even a question whose lead was worse. So I'd much rather blow a lead in the Elite Eight with a chance to knock on the door at the Final Four than the first round of the tournament.
I mean, there were people going.
Well, it's not just that. I can live with blowing a lead to a two-time national champion over the last 3 years with the greatest coach in college basketball right now than losing to a double-digit seed from a mid-major. You understand that wasn't supposed to beat us, and we had a 19-point lead against them. It's far more egregious that North Carolina lost the way that they lost rather than Duke. Duke, you could find a multitude of reasons to hold your head up high if you're a Duke Blue Devil, even in a loss. There's no reason for North Carolina to hold its head up high right now. They should be hiding until next season.
Not that
I'm not criticizing them. I was just on the show a week ago talking about what a phenomenal job he's done at Duke and how he's exceeded expectations as far as I'm concerned, because you haven't missed really a beat with Mike Krzyzewski. All you've been waiting for with this dude is a national championship because he's done everything else. I'm just critiquing the game. And respectfully, Jay Williams, don't look at me. Look in the mirror, bro. I watched you this morning. What did you say? It's Duke. And the expectations are different for Duke than it is for most people. And it's certainly different for somebody that is tutored specifically under Mike Krzyzewski, the ultimate winner. We look at him, and everybody doesn't have an opportunity to learn under him. Everybody doesn't have an opportunity to make sure you're able to position yourself to gloss over the potential of the mistakes that youthful players are going to make. All of those things come with it. Ain't nobody throwing any shade on Jon Scheyer. I mean, I know he's a great coach. I'm just saying, the point is that what did Danny Hurley tell you? What did Danny Hurley tell you? Trying to stay in it, be in a position to capitalize off of a mistake because you anticipate one is coming, and it arrived. That's critiquing the game. That's what we're doing.
So yesterday.
All I'm saying to you, S.A., and I'm sorry, Shay.
No, go ahead.
I hear what you're saying. Yes, it is the gift and the curse that comes with probably playing with the most hated college basketball program. I understand that. All I'm asking is that in reality, right? In reality, it's only been 4 years. And for him to be knocking on the door with 3 straight Elite Eight performances, 3 out of 4 ACC tournament titles, back-to-back ACC regular season titles, 30-plus win seasons back-to-back, 2 National Players of the Year back-to-back, and then 3 out of 4 #1 recruiting classes with another one coming next year. I get it. But if anything, if today, yeah, you're hurt, but you're looking at it saying, yo, we're knocking on the door. And knocking on the door each and every year, that's all you can ask for in college basketball with the arms race it is today.
Once again, I'm going to come back at you and ask you to look in the mirror yet again. You brought up those National Players of the Year. You're going to have back-to-back National Players of the Year. Absolutely. Look at what I'm quoting. I'm quoting you. This is what Jay Williams said. Hold on. This is what Jay Williams said. Look at what Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple are doing in the NBA. I'm just saying, yes, listen, there's nothing to talk about when it comes to Jon Scheyer as a coach. Anybody that's saying he can't coach, everybody that's saying, oh, my goodness, he ain't the dude, shut up. They're all ignorant because you're not watching basketball and you don't know how good this man is. The man is a damn good coach. He deserves a lot of credit for getting Duke to this point. But the flip side to it is that if you're a Duke lover, because I listened to radio yesterday after the game and you heard people calling up that are diehard Duke fans, a lot of people from Durham, a lot of Duke fans, even though you're the most hated program, you also got a lot of love around the country. There's a whole bunch of people that are Duke Blue Devil fans now. You know it as a national champion for them, okay? You know there's love and hatred, and that's the best kind. You don't want anybody to be indifferent or apathetic to you. You want people to love you or hate you. Trust me, it's a beautiful thing and very profitable, by the way. You should try it. It actually works. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is that in the end, what it comes down to is that when you have those kind of A-list players, all right, and you knocking on that door, damn, Jay, it's 3 straight years. And you got a world-class team, you got world-class players, you're in position with double-digit leads, and you don't bring it home. That doesn't mean he won't. That we know he's a great coach. Listen, you heard me on the air last week saying he's the one that got Hubert Davis fired. If Duke wasn't so damn good and was so damn good at recruiting and was so damn good at winning basketball games, Hubert Davis, you might not have frowned upon him so heavily if you're the University of North Carolina. But because of the success 8 miles up the road, you like, damn this, we got to keep up. Who you keeping up with? Jon Scheyer, because that's what he brings to the table. He's a damn good coach, great coach. Perfect successor to Mike Krzyzewski. But it is what it is.
I'm accountable for all of it. You're right. I'm accountable for all of it. All I'm going to leave you with is Coach K was a head coach for 47 years. He won 5, 40-something years and 5.
Gotcha.
That's all.
Okay.
got
Big
you.
shoes to fill,
Got you.
obviously. Remember, this was a 19-point